Hi, welcome to the Retirement Railroad Matinee Modeling Tip of the Day. I'm Steve, and we're running some trains today, which is a good thing because I haven't been able to run trains for a few days. I've been working on both the Aurora Roundhouse and the farm scenes, getting them ready to what I'll call it kind of pre-scenic theme. I've been put the sculpt mold in to round off that hillside over here. I've used some Smooth It to take some of the lumpiness out of it, and I've put a base coat of my typical brown down. I've done some detail work over along the retaining wall, but the big thing was ballasting. And I've ballasted all the way from here, all the way around, back, and through. And no, I didn't do a tip of the day on ballasting. I think I did one way back when. I'm the world's worst at it. Okay? But I've learned to take my time. It pays dividends in the long run. So these two areas here took me 2 days to ballast. And use the typical old methodologies, laying down and the ballast, using a small brush, right, to fan it out and tidy it up. I've learned that less is more when it comes to ballast. You look at some of the other areas. My early efforts in ballasting, I mean, I had it poured and caked on. You can't hardly see the ties in some specific areas. So here you can see the ties, and I can come back now with some gray wash and some black wash along the ties to weather them up a little more. But that's down the road. You know, that's fine-tuning detail work in my mind. But the tip for today, other than less is more, is what I'll call tuning the track. You know, everybody says afterwards, oh, you just come by with your shop vac. Yes, I've got one of those with the shop vac and just tidy up the excess. And I put like everybody else, I put a little nylon over the end so that when I vacuum everything up, I can reclaim and reuse this ballast. So, not a big deal there. Nothing new. But one of the things that nobody talks about, at least I've never seen anybody talk about it, is tuning up this track after the fact. Because, I mean, it only takes one of these little pieces of ballast in the wrong spot to derail a train. Okay? So other than vacuuming, like I do, everybody else does, I come through and with a heavyweight truck, I always keep extra trucks for my different rolling stuff. But I take a heavyweight, and the reason being it's a 3-axle truck, and simply run it along and see how smooth it rolls. Okay? And of course, this one's pretty smooth now. You want to bet how smooth it was right afterwards? Before I started tuning, after vacuuming? It was lumpy. It wouldn't roll from here to there. I take a fine screwdriver and I simply get inside on the rail in that indenture and run that screwdriver around. That'll take out any of the ballast pieces. It'll take out any glue and provide for a smooth roll for the truck. The other thing is the only time I'll use sandpaper is after ballasting. And I will take sandpaper and gently go across the top of the rail. Okay. But before I do that, with the power of the rails off, I'll take a putty knife, a metal one, and go across the top, and that'll take off any of the excess glue and stuff as well. Okay. Then after all that, I come back with this again and see how smooth it rolls. Make sure there's no twists in the track where it does this type of situation, which will throw a train off as well, even if everything's lined up. And once I've got it where this rolls smoothly, then I'll take my GP35. Okay, which are these little babies over here. I'll use the hand of God just to show them off here. And it's a consist of 2 that I will use, and I'll run them. And that'll show me if I got electrical conductivity and whether powered units will run and so forth. And that usually shows me some other areas I need to tune, get cleaned up. Once I have it where that'll run forward, backwards, in this case on both tracks, through the sidings, etc., then I will come through with a 6-axle locomotive. Okay? Whether it be an SD45 that I have over there, or one of these E units, I'll run it through because they're more sensitive. And my locomotives, they're the ones that get thrown off the track the easiest. And I run them both ways through the areas that I ballasted. And finally, after all of that, I'll run a passenger train through. Passenger trains are long, typically more susceptible to derailment than a freight car, and so that's what I'm doing now. Okay, I'm running my Penske Broadway Limited and my CB&Q Zephyr. Now, one thing you'll notice, if you haven't already, when the Zephyr gets over here, you'll see it cuts out and comes back on. Okay. 2 possible reasons, and maybe both of them. They don't have anything to do with my ballasting, etc. There's a switch there, curved switch, a point, if you will, in British terms. That's an insofrog. Okay? A Pico insofrog. Okay. I prefer Pico electrofrog. And I hate Atlas. I've learned to hate Atlas. Atlas is good with their own switch motors, their instant throw switches. But even though you can adjust the tension on a tortoise or snails, they're a constant pressure switch, and the way the rails attach to the plastic throw tie is not very well designed, and I end up having super glue and fix those all the time. But anyway, back to this. That's Pico insofrog. Okay, what's an insofrog versus electrofrog? Well, these electrofrogs over here mean that they're isolated, and when the switch throws, the polarity on the rails changes. Okay, automatically. Okay. So you don't have the opportunity of losing conductivity and or reverse polarity and giving you a situation there. On an insofrog, they insulate. There's a gap between the rails, so to speak, and in that frog. Well, a lot of times the flanges on the metal flanges on the cars will allow the wheels to cross that gap and create a momentary short. Well, a momentary short will throw the decoder off, and you get what you saw over here. It stops, restarts, and those are torn. Okay. So what I've done in that regard is I have put some liquid nails, nail polish, on those two spots on the insole frog that that short can occur at. Okay. But what that also does is creates that momentary lack of conductivity. Now on an E unit with those 6 axles, that should not be a problem. Okay? Because it's picking up on both sets of axles. So what leads me to believe is it's not only the liquid nails, but the wire, one of the wires to the truck, front or back, is probably come loose. So later today I'll fix that. That's an easy fix. But as you can see, what time is it now? 3 hours ago, you couldn't run a train through here because of ballasting here and there, glue, whatever. But through this tuning process, screwdriver, putty knife, I did have to take a file to a rail joint over there. I was able to get the 3-wheel truck through, then the Jeeps, some more tuning, same tools, just fine-tuning the different areas where there may have been an opportunity. Typically the opportunities are going to be around the switches. Alright, and you got to throw the switches repetitively to make sure they're loose. And even beforehand, it's a good idea to manually hand throw. So, that's my cleanup or tuning process after ballasting. So, I want to thank you for joining me here at the Retirement Railroad, Matinee model tip for today. And I'm Steve. Glad I could share what I do. Everybody's got their own methodology, but that's what I do as far as cleaning up after ballasting. Anyway, y'all have a great day. Bye now.